Let's talk about the brand, the Dynamic Doc.
The Dynamic Doc. The Dynamic Doc was birthed out of me in my multidimensionality and my yearning to connect with others that are also multidimensional, because I don't feel like that particular aspect of people is nurtured. I feel as if people are one thing, or at least society would know a person as one thing, label them as such, and then they will only see them in the context of that thing. And that may not be the totality of that person, but that is the box that society has put you in. Because largely people can only digest individuals in one particular aspect. That's kind of how it is. If you notice, let's take Wayne, for example. As we can see, Wayne skateboards, but he also raps, and he also does, he's like an artist, right? They do a lot of things. However, he came into the game as a rapper. And as he's a rapper, that's what he is. But now he's known as that, and he can throw other parts of him in. So if Wayne decided he wanted to come out, featured on a rock record, people would be able to digest that, because they have like, okay, Wayne is a rapper, but he also does this. Okay. Childish Gambino, also an artist, but he's like, but I also produce, like I do that. So I think as a professional, and you may want that as a pharmacist, as when we're like a pharmacist, a doctor, engineer, a lot of times people are like, this is who you are. Like there's a whole big hashtag that my colleagues up in arms about, because this whole like stay in your lane hashtag. And we're like, this is our lane. We're, and people are just kind of like, this is who you are. And many of us, that is not the totality of who we are. So having been in a particular phase in my career where I was nearing the end of my formal training, but there were so many pieces of me. Shout out to Lettucey. It's my favorite song. One of my favorite songs of hers, Pieces of Me. There are multiple pieces of a human being. And a lot of times people are like, why you gotta do other things? You're like, this is who you are. And you're just like, well, what happens to the other parts of me and the other dreams of me? Do they shrivel up like a raisin in the sun? Right? As you may know, like as you go through like rigorous medical training, there are parts of you that take a back seat. And sometimes we can forget that part of us. But that's still us. That's who you are. That makes you feel whole. And it's easier to take care of others if you've already taken care of yourself and you're a whole person. Who wants to take care of someone with just pieces of yourself? And so I created that brand in order to provide a safe space for multidimensional individuals to completely wholeheartedly be, and inspire others who are scared to live in the other parts of themselves, to really be like, look, others don't feel bad. Because I feel like oftentimes we are made to feel bad that we want other things, like as if you cannot possibly you can't do both. You can't, someone I know is an engineer, but he's also a really bomb DJ. But then he was like, when you're really good at whatever, you'll get a lot of like, you'll get a lot of recognition. But then he was like, well, I don't know how to receive all this like more like recognition and awareness and stuff as a DJ, because then I don't want to take away from me being an engineer. And it's just like, but it's okay to be both.
Yeah.
But oftentimes society makes us believe that if you are a doctor, then that is who you are. What do you mean you're a doctor and you also want to be Miss America? What do you mean you want to be a doctor and you want to be a vlogger or a blogger or a travel? What do you mean? Okay, so you see patients, you make good money, whatever that means, but you want to do a podcast. But why? Like, this is good enough. Like, look like you're doing it. What else do you want to do? And I think that I tell people, like, everyone is here for a purpose, and somebody else's purpose is tied into you living out yours. So it's not about you. It's about the reaction, the catalyst that you are meant to be. So if you just sit and you're not the catalyst, you have all this potential, but no direction. As you know, in physics, vector equals a direction. And there's a lot of people sitting on potential, but it means nothing if there's no direction. So yeah, my brand was kind of birthed out of me wanting to live a life on purpose, for a purpose, and wanting to nurture different sides of me. So that is what the Dynamic Doc is about. And out of that has come these different projects or different parts that I am developing one at a time. I'm learning the art of patience. Pray for me. And I started off with my YouTube channel, which is talking about my journey into medicine, and then currently have the How Do You Medicine podcast, because medicine is more than just doctors. First of all, medicine is more than just physicians. Medicine is an entity that includes different parts and different people. And so this How Do You Medicine podcast is for healthcare professionals doing healthcare their way. And that looks different. So I just wanted to highlight and promote, highlight, and celebrate these individuals that are doing medicine in a way, or doing healthcare in a way outside of your typical four walls of a clinic, or clinic, or even a retail pharmacy, or a hospital. That's what we're used to seeing, but that's really like a small portion of what it means to be a healthcare professional. And so that's what my podcast is about, talking to these dynamic, phenomenal individuals.